And again, this young boy, he placed more importance on protecting other people than getting his people out of a dilemma. But he was rewarded and recognized for it. And he personally benefited at the expense of his own people. And he personally benefited at the expense of his own people. And he personally benefited at the expense of his own people.
I woke up, man, this morning with some disturbing news out of Israel. That Hamas kidnapping children, putting them in cages, killing women, killing the elderly. That's some cowards. That's cowardly. And for all y'all Black Lives Matter who ain't saying nothing, well, let me figure out exactly what happened before I say anything. Figure out what? It ain't never been cool to kidnap kids and put them in cages. It ain't never been cool to kill women and elderly. Never been. No matter where you from, what you represent, what tribe you for, it don't matter. There ain't never been no cool. There ain't never been none that nobody supported. And then you go and hide and put the kids in front of you as a barricade. That's some cowards. All you politicians who always had something to say on the contrary, I see you. All you Black Lives Matter people who always had something to say and always supported everything else, and you quiet now, too. Only place in the world where I can go and study Torah and eat kosher food. Only place in the world. Only place in the world. Only place in the world.
I don't know why we leaving Mouse's house. He been good to us. He feed us on Saturday, clothes us on Sunday, and then beat us on Monday. Or was it Tuesday? I don't know.
Jasper, I just want to go. I was a house again. Jasper?
What?
Jasper, don't you want freedom? We going to Promised Land. The Promised Land.
Promised Land?
Only place in the world where I can go and study Torah and eat kosher food. Only place in the world. Some cowards, y'all, and all y'all supported. You. On my mama, we don't respect none of y'all for that. Peace.
The Jewish community, as we know them, were major players with owning slaves. Jews and Judaism in the United States, a documentary history. Rabbi Mark Lee Raphael, no one can say that I'm making this up. This is a Jewish rabbi, a book that he wrote, 1983. Notice what he says here. Jews also took an active part in the Dutch colonial slave trade. Indeed, the bylaws of the Recife and Mauritia congregations in 1648 included an imposta, in other words, a Jewish tax of 5 soldos for each Negro slave a Brazilian Jew purchased from the West Indies Company. Slave auctions were postponed if they fell on a Jewish holiday. In Correggio, excuse me if I butchered the name, in the 17th century, as well as in the British colonies of Barbados and Jamaica in the 18th century, Jewish merchants played a major role in the slave trade. Let me say that again. Jewish merchants played a major role in the slave trade. In fact, in all the American colonies, whether French, British, or Dutch, Jewish merchants frequently dominated. Let me say that again. The Jewish merchants frequently dominated. Let me read it one more time. In fact, in all the American colonies, let me say it one more time. In all of the American colonies, whether French, whether it's British or Dutch, Jewish merchants frequently dominated. This was no less true on the North American mainland, where during the 18th century, Jews participated in the triangular trade that brought slaves from Africa to the West Indies and there exchanged them for molasses, which in turn was taken to New England and converted into rum for sale in Africa. New England, that's where you get into Massachusetts, Vermont, Connecticut, that area. Yes, there were slave Jewish settlements up there. Yes, you had slaves up in that area. This is just giving some names here, but it makes it clear all these individuals here are Jewish. This is Charleston, South Carolina, Philadelphia, Newport News, Virginia. It says here, dominated Jewish slave trading on the American continent. In these European outposts, the Jews, with their years of mercantile experience and networks of friends and family providing market reports of great use, played a significant role in the merchant capitalism. In these these European outposts, the Jews, with their years of mercantile experience and networks of friends and family providing market reports of great use, played a significant role in the merchant capitalism, commercial revolution, and territorial expansion that developed the New World and established the colonial. And family, we got to stop looking for something new. The New World Order has been here and running with full steam. Anyone that's prophesying and anticipating of a New World Order, they're not teaching prophecy correctly. They're teaching a Eurocentric, a heavily Euro-influenced prophecy. The New World Order has been in full effect. So capitalism, commercial revolution, and territorial expansion that developed the New World and established the colonial economics. The Jewish Caribbean nexus provided Jews with the opportunity to claim a disproportionate influence in the 17th, the 18th century, New World commerce, and enabled West Indian Jewry far outnumbering, let me say that again, far outnumbering its co-religionists. Further north to enjoy a centrality with North American Jewry would not achieve for a long time to come. Groups of Jews began to arrive in Suriname in the middle of the 17th century after the Portuguese regained control of northern Brazil by 1694, 27 years after the British had surrounded Suriname to Dutch. There were about 100 Jewish families and 50 single Jews there, or about 570 persons. They possessed more than 40 estates and 9,000 slaves, contributed 25,905 pounds of sugar as a gift for the building of a hospital, and carried on an active trade with Newport and other colonial ports. By 1730, Jews owned 115 plantations and were a large part of a sugar export business. This is where you get Domino Sugar, which sent out 21,680,000 pounds of sugar to European and New World markets in 1730 alone. Slave trading was a major feature of Jewish economics, going back to capitalism. Slave trading was a major feature of Jewish economic life in Suriname, which as a major stopping off point in the triangular trade. Both North American and Caribbean Jews played a key role in this commerce.
I woke up, man, this morning with some disturbing news out of Israel. That Hamas kidnapping children, putting them in cages, killing women, killing the elderly. That's some cowards. That's cowardly. That's cowardly. That's cowardly.
3 miles from the center of Savannah sits this nondescript plot of land. Thousands of cars drive by it without notice every day. But these trees mask a dark history. It was near here, more than 150 years ago, that the largest single auction of enslaved people in the history of the United States was held. The sale was advertised in newspapers across the country, and over the course of 2 days in 1859, more than 400 children, women, and men were sold to the highest bidder.
Only place in the world where I can go and study Torah and eat kosher food. Only place in the world. Only place in the world. Only place in the world.
I don't know why we leaving Mouse's house. He been good to us. He feed us on Saturday, clothes us on Sunday, and then beat us on Monday. Or was it Tuesday? I don't know.
Jasper, I just want to go. I was at house again, Jasper.
What?
Jasper, don't you want freedom? We going to Promised Land. The Promised Land.
Promised Land.
1704, there's a black kid. There are a whole bunch of slaves coming in from Africa on a slave vessel called the Eagle. The Eagle is heading towards America. There's a young black boy on there, along with some other older slaves. The slaves decide to revolt on the ship. And they took over and knocked the captain down, took over the ship, and took the weapons, and we're going to fight to take over the control of the ship and head it towards, back towards Africa. And as one of the older slaves grabbed a machete, and he said he's going to kill the captain so they can completely have control of the ship, as he swung at the captain, a young black slave jumped up and got in there and protected the captain and took the blows himself, which chopped off one of his arms and protected the captain. And by protecting the captain was able to recover the control of the vessel, put down the insurrection, and then hung all the blacks who were trying to revolt, except a young black kid who was only 19. When the captain got to America, he gave him to supposedly a benevolent slave owner and rewarded him with recognition, and says that after he's been educated and recovered from his wounds, that he's to be set free. And again, this young boy, he placed more importance on protecting other people than getting his free people out of a dilemma. But he was rewarded and recognized for it. And he personally benefited at the expense of his own people. And he personally benefited at the expense of his own people. And he personally benefited at the expense of his own people.
Only place in the world where I can go and study Torah and eat kosher food. Only place in the world. Only place in the world. Only place in the world.
I don't know why we leaving Mouse's house. He been good to us. He feed us on Saturday, clothe us on Sunday, and then beat us on Monday. Or was it Tuesday? I don't know.
Jasper, I just want to go. I was a house again, Jasper.
What?
Jasper, don't you want freedom? We going to Promised Land. The Promised Land.
Promised Land.
What's your thoughts? Please be respectful with your comments. Also, please click the like, click the notification bell, and subscribe to this channel.
Listen, Genesis chapter 11 verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this back, Genesis 14 verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was black. Abraham, born in the city of a black man, called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham, Isaac was Jacob had 12 sons, for real, and these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10.